Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of council on Monday, December the 8th, 2025. If everyone could stand for the national anthem, please.
Short version.
It was a shortened version? You trying to save time? Again, welcome everybody. I will call this meeting to order. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Accept the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? None? Okay, if Councillor Manley, if you wouldn't mind.
Move by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accept the agenda of the regular meeting of Council on Monday, December 8th, 2025.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Adoption of previous minutes. Councillor Massey, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manley, that the minutes of the following meeting be adopted as circulated. Regular meeting of council minutes, Monday, November 24th, 2025, and special closed session of council minutes, Thursday, November 27th, 2025.
Thank you. Any errors or omissions? All in favor of the motion? Carried, thank you. Mayor McDonald has arrived at the meeting, so I will pass the chair over to the mayor.
I'll do my best. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm Alison McDonald. I'm General Manager for the Raisin Region Conservation Authority, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight to give a brief overview of our programs and services, as well as talk about our 2026 budget consultation. And I do have yep, there it is, perfect. It's great to see you all, especially your representative on our board, Councillor Jacques Massey, who has been doing a great job advocating for North Glengarry as part of our budget process. Next slide. So I'm going to highlight 3 key programs and services. Oh, I change it? Okay, perfect. I'm going to highlight 3 key programs and services that we provide to the Township of North Glengarry and our other partner municipalities. This includes our role with natural hazards, as well as the Garry River System operation, our conservation lands and recreation, and our forestry and special projects. The Raisin Region Conservation Authority is one of 36 conservation authorities in the province. We serve 5 local municipalities, including North Glengarry, and our board of directors includes elected officials from each municipality, including 1 representative from this township. Our board meets monthly at the administrative office at Grays Creek, and recently the board completed a strategic action plan, which sets out the board and staff priorities and was completed through engagement with our partners and the public. So on natural hazards, this is the core, oops, I switched my slides around after I sent them to you, so I'm going to flip ahead. Our core mandate includes protecting people and property from natural hazards like flooding and erosion, as well as protecting municipal drinking water. We have several programs that advance this goal, including our planning and permitting program, our flood and low water response, and our management of water control structures. Another area we focus on is municipal planning review, and we deliver permits for development applications that are put forward near water and wetlands. 100% of the permits in our office are issued within the provincial timelines, and we pride ourselves on excellent pre-consultation and customer service. Our flood forecasting and low water response programs have been very active lately. Locally, we monitor precipitation, snow depth, water levels on creeks and rivers, and issue warnings and notices to provincial ministries, municipalities, and the public. For the recent low water conditions, staff have been coordinating regional response and providing support and community messaging on water conservation. The Raisin Region and South Nation jurisdictions are currently still within a level 1 severe drought condition. We also have an agreement to manage the Garry River water control infrastructure, which includes 3 dams. This summer, we actively monitored the water levels to ensure there was enough water in Mill Pond for the municipal drinking water intake. Staff have also done a full assessment of the river system and noticed there were a number of beaver dams. There were a total of 8 beaver dams, which we have GPS located and photographed, and will continue to monitor to ensure there's no impacts to our water intake. We've also helped with a funding application. We were hoping to get funding for the Mill Pond Dam as well as the channel, and unfortunately we were not successful in securing that grant. I'll just skip back to the drinking water protection slide so I don't miss that one. So Raisin Region is the lead for the Raisin South Nation Source Protection Region, and we work with a committee to ensure policies are in place to protect municipal drinking water systems. In 2025, the committee completed a major update to the Source Protection Plan, which is being submitted to the province for approval this month. And in 2026, we will start a review and update of all the existing risk management plans for partner municipalities, including North Glengarry. Skip back. All right. We're highlighting as well today our beautiful conservation areas that serve local residents. Grades Creek, Cooper Marsh, and Charlottenburg Park are all popular destinations. Our conservation lands are also protected green spaces that enhance the natural heritage system. We also allow landowners to donate ecologically significant lands as part of a Green Legacy program. Of course, we also host great local events like the Raisin River Canoe Race. Over 50 years, this race has occurred every spring and sees hundreds of paddlers race from Raisin River in St. Andrews down to Williamstown. One of the most popular programs we deliver is actually our tree giveaway days, and there's a photo, I believe, from this year. We give about 5 to 10 trees to residents who sign up that they can plant on their property. This is a low cost but high impact event that is always popular with residents. We are also actively seeking funding for these initiatives, and we do not use any municipal levy to support these programs. So these are all funded through alternative revenues and grants that our staff pursue. In 2025, we have submitted a joint application to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities under the Green Municipal Fund to offset costs around managing a plant of trees at Island Park in 2026. And we're very optimistic we will be successful. Switching gears to our budget. So the board recently approved the draft 2026 budget for consultation. We do have a 30-day consultation period that is currently open. The draft budget was sent to your clerk last Friday. We've been reviewing as well the provincial proposal for regional consolidation of conservation authorities. And in the face of this proposal, we have looked at our priority projects for 2026. We have been directed by our board to focus on locally meaningful needs. So we are reassessing some capital projects that we may advance in priority for 2026, but none of those will be funded by levy. The provincial consolidation proposal is open for comment on environmental registry until December 22nd. Our board has flagged the importance of local municipal representation and making sure that that's not lost in an amalgamation of conservation authorities, as well as maintaining local service availability. That includes local staff, local offices, and local programs that we supply to our municipal partners. On that note, I have this slide included to show that only 24% of Raisin Region's budget is provided by municipal levy. Most conservation authorities are around 50 to 60% funded by municipal levy. Raisin Region is actually one of the lowest in the province. So for every dollar we take municipally, we find 3 elsewhere. And a lot of that is self-generated revenue. So some of our facilities that make money help to offset our costs. And the actual numbers, so we are looking at a very modest operating levy increase of about $50,000 this year. For North Glengarry, that's an $11,000 increase total in operating levy. And on the capital, we're looking at a $273,000 capital budget with about a $7,000 increase to North Glengarry on capital levy. So a very modest percentage this year. And that is it for me.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. And sir,
Thank you. Thank you.
is there a timeline for the province to move forward with the amalgamation?
So they have not written the legislation. They've told us they're actively consulting for real. The legislation is expected in April of 2026 to be dropped for review. They have given notice to our board of directors. They will continue to serve until the end of the municipal term. So we fully expect that by the end of 2026, we will be moving into a regional board and regional governance structure. But there has been quite a bit of opposition around the province and a lot of pushback. So I believe the province will want to speak to us more about this, and I hope that our opportunities at Roma may prove useful, that we could have some conversations. I know our board would like to have conversations with the province, and we have some concerns. We're not opposed, but we do have concerns about making sure it's done right.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On that note, as you know, I sit on the Roma board, and we're going to be meeting next week. And we will be meeting with Minister Flack and Minister Thompson, where we plan on bringing up the concerns relating to the CAs. So maybe we can talk offline about that. And just a question, it says here you manage 2,300 acres of conservation land. Is that land you own or owned by other levels?
The 2,300 is ours.
Oh, it's yours?
Yeah.
And how have you acquired that land over time? It's just simply curiosity.
Yeah, a lot of it is donated. So recently, for example, the Mackay property that was donated, there's a couple like 100-acre, 200-acre donations. Cooper Marsh is the big one. I think it's almost 500 all said and done at Cooper Marsh. And then there's just a few more scattered around here and there, but most of them are donations.
And are they generally 100% donated, or do you do partial tax receipt in some
Yep,
cases?
we have actually done a lot of training for staff on this, but we are now able to give split receipting, eco-gift, you can do conservation easements and different kinds of taxable benefits. So it's very unique obviously to each donor, but we're pretty well versed to get people into the right donation situation that works for them. So pretty much anything's on the table that way. We don't have a fund of money to actively go out and purchase sort of market value property, but our board does support us covering legal costs and different types of costs if it makes sense for someone to donate, sometimes for their estate or other reasons.
Very
Yeah.
good, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Further questions or comments at this time? Seeing none, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. We really appreciate all the support from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to staff report, Community Services Department, CS 2025-2023, 26 Canada Day events. Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Madden, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report CS 2025-23, 2026 Canada Day events, and that Council approves the following schedule for the 2026 Canada Day celebrations. Saturday, June 27th, Canada Day in Glen Robertson. Tuesday, June 30th, Canada Day in Apple Hill and Maxville. And Wednesday, July 1st, Canada Day in Alexandria.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As noted in Council's staff report this evening, the Municipal Recreation Association Committee met on November 18th to review upcoming event dates for 2026. So the dates presented to you in your council packages this evening are what's being recommended by the hosts within the recreation associations, along with the usual date of July 1st being celebrated in Alexandria National Park in partnership with the Alexandria Lions Club, subject to any questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, moving on to CS 2025-24 Municipal Recreation Association Committee Capital Budget. Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manley, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report CS 2025-24 Municipal Recreation Association Committee Capital Projects Update, and the Council approves the reallocation of Dalkeith Recreation Association capital funds to support siding repairs in the Dalkeith Community Centre, and the Council approves the allocation of the 2026 Municipal Recreation Association Committee capital projects.
Okay, Stephanie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So a few different layers to this report tonight for council. The first one to provide a bit of an update following the 2025 MRAC, Municipal Recreation Association Committee capital projects that took place throughout 2025. Two of the major ones that were completed this year using the allocated funds included kitchen upgrades to the Apple Hill Community Center, as well as a walking track that was installed in Glen Robertson, both being successful initiatives this year. Some of the smaller items the funding went towards were equipment upgrades for the other recreation associations, as well as towards some reserves that have been put towards a floor reserve, as an example, in the Dunvegan Community Hall, as well as what was intended for the Dalkeith Ice Rink Reserve in the amount of $15,000. So with that, at our meeting in November, the Dalkeith Recreation Association were seeking support of the MRAC to reallocate some of that $15,000 towards needed siding repairs within or at their community center. So as such, they're requesting to have $8,500 taken out of their $15,000 capital allocation to support these repairs, and then the remaining $6,500 of that $15,000 would then be transferred back into the ice rink reserve. The MRAC were supportive of moving forward with this reallocation, but again, in consideration of council's approved budget, we wanted to bring this forward for consultation at this level. And then the final piece of this report is to provide you an update on the 2026 anticipated projects that were discussed at this meeting as well. So some of the major projects that are being planned for 2026 using the dedicated $63,500 that is typically annually approved during the annual budget exercise would go towards a contribution from the Alexandria Recreation Association in partnership with the GD Community Tennis and Pickleball courts that are in need of resurfacing. Council is well aware of our limits and barriers in terms of repairing the Island Park tennis court. So as such, this project was brought to our attention as a potential partnership with the high school in order to resurface those tennis courts, which would be used as more of a community accessible tennis court and pickleball destination for residents to use and have access to. So $10,000 of their $15,000 would go towards a contribution towards that project, which obviously, if council is in agreement with moving forward, we would come back at a later date in the new year to discuss what that agreement would look like with the high school. So further details to come, but just for council's information, this is something that they would like to use their capital allocation towards in 2026. Apple Hill is still in need of some final repairs for their kitchen upgrades that took place in 2025. They had some unexpected repairs in their walk-in cooler, which took away some of their funds from the 2025 project allotment. Dalkeith is also in need of some accessibility upgrades to their community hall, so where their ramp up into the main entrance and its interaction with the doorway needs some upgrades. The floor reserve continues to be a priority for Dunvegan. And then in addition to that, equipment repairs for Father Gauthier, Glen Sandfield equipment, Lagan soccer equipment. Glen Robertson, now having their outdoor track, would like to see some outdoor yard enhancements, so outdoor furniture, greenery and that sort of thing, so some enhancements with that yard. And then finally, the Maxwell Recreation Association would like to contribute towards the soccer lake reserve for their project. So subject to any questions from council, this is an update following the MRAC meeting that took place.
Okay, thank you. Lots of information in there. Questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just when I was reading, I was going to ask if that was a typo about GDHS. I'm all for it if there's some sort of an agreement there. That'll be interesting. They've been sticky in the past with community use.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it does seem like it's something they're definitely interested in engaging on and going into this repair an opportunity and a partnership with the community, with the township, so it does seem to be heading in the right direction. So we're eager to come back in the new year, hopefully with some discussions and consultations, and to see how we can formalize what that agreement might look like.
Good. I would just say as long as there's an indefinite term on it and they don't have some sort of loophole to say, no community after a year or two.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just following up on Councillor Madden, yeah, I mean, I'm all in favor of partnerships of this kind. I am a little uneasy about the idea of putting taxpayers' dollars into, I think it's on school board property, right? So I think we need to be careful about that. And agreeable with Councillor Madden, it would have to be 100% available to the community without people having to provide, a letter of insurance, and because that's always been the problem, right? Is liability, and it's hard to get past that with the school board. But are we going to be upgrading the Island Park tennis courts as well? Because I think we should be putting money into one or the other, but not both. So maybe we need a discussion about which one. I mean, I understand there are challenges there, but, I don't think we can, put money into one tennis court and then we don't have those kinds of dollars to be having 2 outdoor tennis courts. So I think we need to have that discussion at the same time to make sure that we're investing in the one we should be investing in. So, I wouldn't get personally too far down the road on this yet until we have further discussion. And then just a question, this is great, it's wonderful the work that the MRICs do. But again, I have a similar question with regards to Lagan and equipment. Now, is that equipment that is used by the public in general, or is it used by the school kids at the school?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, this is actually a piece that the chair of the MREC and myself are working on formalizing in the new year. You've seen your packages, we're talking a lot about terms of references, and this is actually something that we want to do a better job of defining the use of the funds for the MRECs, and just better defining what they can be used for. So I think historically there have been some parameters put in place for what they can use the equipment for. My understanding is that, oftentimes the soccer equipment might go towards jerseys for users of that field that they're responsible for manning or maintaining, It might go towards repairs for netting or for the actual goalposts and that sort of thing. So I don't have a specific breakdown of how they would have used that equipment this year, but.
Yeah, it's for their GSL soccer teams. It's for the Glengarry
Okay.
Soccer League
Okay.
team. So we do that in Maxville, and Maxville have that if they're in
Yeah.
need of jerseys or things, but it's
Yeah.
not for the school.
It's
for-
not, yeah, because we
for-
had, I think that we had an issue there one year where we invested money into something on the property, which I don't think we
It's
can be
for
doing.
kind of long-term items, like if it's uniforms, it's
Yeah.
not just one of,
Sure,
they're not gonna buy uniforms for one season and let the kids all take them home. It's something that,
that's great. Okay, no, just wanting to make sure, because it's unclear. I mean, Lagan doesn't have a location, right? So it makes it difficult to invest sort of.
They do. They operate
Oh,
their
where?
soccer teams out of the high school, out
Oh,
of the school.
well, yeah, but they don't have a hall is what I meant,
No.
or anything like that, so, yeah. Okay, very good, thank you.
Just going back to the deputy mayor's comment on for the school, look, they're asking for $10,000. Is that all they're asking for, to be a partner in this? Or is there a further?
So thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are really in the early stages of the discussions, but my understanding is because this is simply a resurfacing project, it's a bit different from what we need to do at Island Park, which is to completely demolish and start over again with the courts there. So the GV tennis courts are still in a state that they can be repaired. So my understanding is the quotes that they've received so far don't exceed $40,000 to $50,000. So between the township's contribution through the Alexandria Rec Association, along with other community partnerships and contributions that they're seeking, they do feel that there may be adequate funds, of course, including the contribution from the school as well. There would be adequate funds to cover the cost of this project.
So, Yeah, so I would be fine with putting it in, but to both their points that it has to be fully open to the public. I mean, they used to be like that when I was a kid. So they were new back then, but you know, that's, you could go anytime. The tennis league had played there. You never had to call the school. So if that's the case, then for $10,000, I think it's a good investment. Considering that pickleball is getting so big, and now we're down to one tennis court at the park. Even if we fix it, we'll have one tennis court and a pickleball court. So it's still probably not enough for Alexandria. So I think if we can get into a partnership, but again, to their point, we'll put it. I mean, I'm okay with putting it in the budget for now, but obviously there's going to be a longer discussion down the road. So, yeah, go ahead, Mr. Manley.
I know that those courts get used a lot during the day for phys ed classes.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a tough sell to say that the township has access to those all the time.
I would think not during school hours would probably,
Yeah.
but during the summer when it's
Yeah.
their most use, that we would hopefully have full access to it.
Right.
And in the evenings,
Yeah.
Sorry to chime in on that, it's just no lock gates, right? Like, that's what it comes down to, is leaving it open for people. And
you
just
can
to-
access there anytime. The Glengarry Soccer League plays there, so.
Okay. If it's a resurfacing and it's a partnership between the two, I'm good with that number right now, but if we can minimize that and add some of that money to reserve for the courts at Island Park, because obviously that's the goal, is to get the courts at the park fixed, and we need to obviously start building a reserve towards that. So just a thought, if we can, in negotiations.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? The motion is carried. There are none opposed. Okay, HGMH pool update, Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Manley that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report number CS 2025-25, HGMH pool updates for information purposes only.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Following a recent council meeting, Deputy Mayor Williams, he made the recommendation to come back to council with a report on an update on the HGMH pool. So I'm happy to report to council tonight a bit of a summary of how operations have been going over the course of the last year. So as you'll recall, the pool started to open on a gradual basis in the spring of 2024. Since then, we've been able to operate on a more regular basis, serving the public and offering aquatic services to the community. On average, we're currently offering 32 hours of programming at the HGMH pool per week, featuring activities varying from public swimming lessons, senior exclusive swimming, parent and taught swims, as well as aquafit classes and swimming lessons for youth. The pool is also available for private rentals for anyone seeking to use it for a birthday party or a private event. The pool is primarily operating on evenings and weekends to align with our lifeguard availability. We do employ 6 part-time student lifeguards, so the pool is often tailored to operate around their hours currently. However, we have looked to explore more daytime programming. So fortunately, our aquafit instructor is also a certified lifeguard. So we've been able to explore more daytime morning programming with her classes, which has been really well received by the public. During the summer, we were also able to open more of a regular daytime Monday to Friday basis as well, in addition to weekends, where we hosted the Boys and Girls Club for their summer camp twice per week. So we're looking at new opportunities to partner and get some different exposure within the pool. When we look at enrollment trends since the pool's opening, the chart you'll see in your council packages shows a bit of a wave in terms of the enrollment numbers. I should note that this chart is actually only reflective of the online enrollment. As council may recall, we've moved a lot of our programs to actually more of an online registration process. Takes away some of the administrative work in the background of doing paper or copy sign up. So that's been an efficiency for the department. So this chart actually is reflective of approximately 726 online enrollments that have taken place over the last year. But we've actually also had an addition of 756 internal enrollments, we call it, where people have gone to the Dome as an example to register, and they might feel more comfortable registering with a person. So that's been a service that we've also been able to continue to offer as well. You'll see the peaks within March and September as we've tried to really formalize program registration periods. So for example, we'll be starting up with our winter programming in the new year, starting in January. So within the next couple of weeks, you'll see we'll launch our online registration periods where we expect to see peaks of registration during those months. And then anything in between is typically the drop-ins for public swimming, or just kind of a last-minute use of the pool as an example. So when we look at our expenses for the pool, the largest expense portion of keeping the pool open is of course the wages for the lifeguards. We also commit a portion of the community services HGMH budget towards clothing allowance, which is a small amount for lifeguard uniforms, supplies, as well as a portion to our booking software in partnership with the other departments within recreation as well. Our revenue is generated from all program registrations, as well as any private pool rentals for, as I mentioned, birthday parties or private swim rentals. When we look at a comparison of the revenue and expenses from 2024 to 2025, we did note a 42.8% increase in revenue from last year, now having almost a full year of operations at the pool. However, we do note the discrepancy between our expenses versus our revenue. So we do want to use this data over the course of the next year to really fine tune and make sure it's within a closer increment to align our scheduling and our revenue. Because of course we still want to make sure that our pricing is affordable and accessible for families of all types coming to use the pool. We've also included a chart here to reflect where those who are using the pool are coming from. So we're not just serving the residents of North Glengarry, which is very nice to see as well. And so what we've done, instead of using single digits to reflect the number of people coming, we use a percentage, not to identify any specific residents coming from any surrounding communities. But you'll see the 54.5% of registrations that are coming from Alexandria. That's actually reflective of about 800 residents. So it's quite a substantial amount of people. 111 are coming from Maxville, 64 from Green Valley, and so forth. But nice to see the structure the pool is actually serving for the community. So as I mentioned, now having completed a full year in the pool, as I mentioned, we're committed to continuing to monitor our registration data and really look at how our expense allocations are remaining responsive to the community needs and servicing the community in a way that they feel they're getting value for their money. But subject to any questions, I'll do a brief overview of the operations of the pool.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Massey.
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie, for that report. Yeah, it's been a while since we wanted that report, so it's nice to have. I noticed that you mentioned that we had a 42.8 increase in revenue generated from 2024, but that revenue cost us actually 10% more expenses. So is that something though that, are these expenses, do you think they're getting pretty much their cap limit and then the revenue is only going to go up from there? Because even though we had a little bit more revenue generated, but if you divide the numbers together, it cost us more in 2025 than it did 2024.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, through you, Mr. Merritt. You know, these are, as much as the expenses appear high, we're still within the budget amount that we planned for 2026. So I guess it's just for us, it's really looking at how do we increase the revenue without expanding the hours of the lifeguards as an example, because that's our biggest expense is the lifeguard wages. So it's really looking at finding almost that sweet spot to meet somewhere a little bit closer in the middle to make sure that we're still able to maximize the revenue. And I think that can be done with better promotion, allowing that longer periods of registration so that we're actually reaching more people to actually register for our programs. The public swimming and the senior swimming, they obviously bring in, money towards the pool, but it's really the aquafit classes and the swimming lessons that are big, larger portions of revenue that are coming in. So we want to make sure that we're attracting and really in seeing where the residents are coming from or the users are coming from to use the pool, targeting those areas as well. Because obviously if there's an interest in people coming to use the pool and it's feasible and accessible to them, we should do more targeted efforts in reaching those communities as well and not just specific
subsequent?
Yeah, just like, yeah, because like on Facebook and stuff like that, promote it a little bit more maybe, and then maybe look at the cost of subscription or something, I don't know. It's just that seems like the more people we have, the more like, yeah.
Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I mean, it's a great program, provides a wonderful service to the community, encourages physical activity, all those great things. But, you know, as Councillor Massey pointed out, the expenses are really, you know, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was supposed to be a break-even venture when we went into this, given that the hospital owns the pool and pays for the, I think,
Pays for the maintenance
the
and operation.
maintenance and operation. That's a lot of expense for the revenue that's coming in. It's because we're not, I mean, our other facilities, we pay for everything. You know, so the level of subsidy would be required to increase in that. But, you know, in this instance, I really think we need to get, obviously, more registrations and more people participating, because it's really costing us too much. Tell me something, are the classes capped, like, let's say, okay, you want to offer an Aquafit class, and do you have to have a certain number of registrations before that class will go?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, we do have a certain number that we need to hit to meet our costs before we'll proceed with the program. So we have canceled some in the past due to low registration or referred members to join another class that has a better quantity of people. So it is something that we monitor, and we don't run a class if it won't make sense for us to do so.
Okay, maybe you want to look at those numbers, maybe you need more participation before it goes, because,
The pool is only a certain size, and you can only have a certain number of people in the pool.
right.
So that's the issue,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, is it?
Well,
It's- yeah.
Through you,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Mayor, we are, for example, if we're in our Olympic classes, just due to the size of the pool, we can only have approximately 10 participants register per class. So that's where, you know, we do try and maximize and get as many as we can. We do have some where there's been waiting lists, you know, for those
Right.
moments.
Mhm.
But nonetheless, yes, we are limited by the size of the pool in terms of how many registrations we can have.
Right.
at a time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for the report.
Other questions or comments at this time? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee Terms of Reference, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Martin, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report CS 2025-26, Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee Terms of Reference, and that Council adopts the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee Terms of Reference.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as noted previously, this evening, we are looking at formalizing some documentation such as terms of references for some of our committees of council that we have. And again, just to, ensure we have a document that outlines our governance provisions, responsibilities of members, procedures for filling vacancies and that sort of thing. So the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee did meet on December 1st and reviewed the terms of reference. And as such, are wanting to bring it forward to council for subject to any questions.
Okay, any questions on that? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. Okay, moving on to CS 2025-27, Community Development Committee Terms of References. Councillor Martin.
Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report number CS 2025-27, Community Development Committee Terms of Reference, and that the Council adopts the Community Development Committee Terms of Reference.
Ditto? Ditto. Okay, we looked at it at our meeting, did not make any changes. It seemed still relevant and appropriate, so. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Designation of Glengarry Archives Building, Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report number CS 2025-2028, designation of the Glengarry Archives Building. The Council receives bylaw 47-2025, being a bylaw to designate the property at 28 Kenyon Street, East Alexandria, Glengarry County Archives, as a property of cultural heritage, value, or interest, and that bylaw 47-2025 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 8th day of December 2025.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Stephanie.
Mr. Mayor, my last report of the evening. So as council will recall, we entered into the designation process for the Glengarry County Archives Building. You'll recall that on October 14th, the Township of South Glengarry, as co-owner of the Glengarry County Archives Building, passed a resolution to object to proceeding. So since that time, the Township of North Glengarry has provided a delegation to the Township of South Glengarry Council in early November, presented by our Economic Development Officer, Ainsley Hunt, as well as Manager of Long Range Planning and Policy for the SDG counties, Lindsay Parisian. And as such, we're able to kind of clarify some of our intentions with moving forward with the designation process, at which time South Glengarry expressed its support to moving forward. So as such, we are presenting the bylaw this evening for council's approval, and if endorsed, we would move forward with a letter being sent to South Glengarry once again to confirm the bylaw has been passed. Notice of hearing of designation will be posted to the website. The Ontario Heritage Trust will be informed that the bylaw was passed by council. I will also note that we did consult the Township of South Glengarry prior to coming to council this evening with the bylaw, and they didn't have any concerns. So, if there's any questions, we are excited to move forward with this initiative.
Okay, perfect. Questions or comments? Just glad we were able to get there and get this settled, so that's good, good news. It was definitely our mistake, and so glad that we could get it resolved. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Thank you for your reports. Building Planning and Bylaw, BP 2025-27, zoning bylaw amendment number Z10 2025, Zawisla, and Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manley, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopt zoning bylaw number Z10 2025, and that bylaw number Z10 2025 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 8th day of December 2025.
Thank you. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll try to make up some time for your staff. Just kidding. So the owners for this file, Andre and Minerva, had applied for a zoning bylaw amendment. The property is located at 18506 Huey Monroe Road, right in town in Apple Hill. So the purpose for this application was to change this property from institutional to rural hamlet. And this is basically to be able to use the existing building that's there that used to be a church to be used as a single-family dwelling. So the file was presented at the public meeting of planning on the 24th of November meeting. We have circulated everything as per Planning Act, posted on our website and everything, and we have received no additional comments or concerns from any members of the public or any agencies. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. BP 2025-28, zoning bylaw amendment Z11 2025, DeRico, Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Madden, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopts bylaw Z11 2025, and that bylaw Z11 2025 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 8th day of December 2025.
Okay, thank you. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the owner for that file, Ms. Stephanie Derico, located at 1250 and 1280 Tannery Road in Dalkeith. The purpose for this application, although a little bit oddly shaped, was really just a typical surplus dwelling severance. So these were these two rezonings were conditions for the severance. So it was to rezone the larger part to prohibit any additional dwelling. So there's already one. So there's no additional dwelling that can be built on that property. and to rezone the smaller portion, just to basically prohibit agricultural activity on that property. Again, here presented at public meeting on the 24th of November meeting. The file was published and advertised as per Planning Act, and we have received no additional comments from members of the public or any other agencies. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments from council? All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. Okay, moving on to, thank you for your reports. Moving on to Public Works Department, PW 2025-25, pickup replacement. Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Martin. The Council of Township of North Glengarry receives staff report, PW 2025-25, pickup replacement, and the council authorizes the purchase of a replacement pickup truck for the sum of $66,750 plus HST from Roy's Chevrolet Buick GMC, Inc. And the council authorizes the purchase of a replacement V plow blade from Carmichael, I think, for the sum of $17,706 plus HST. Yes, from Carmichael, Canada.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So it's been a very busy year, and this would have been something we'd like to get to earlier, but it's actually worked out really in our favor because the dealerships are trying to clear inventory, and we put out a quotation to replace the plow truck that's used for clearing inside Glen Robinson, Dalkeith, and Roy's was the only bidder who could meet our timeline. We talked to a few dealerships. We had no restriction around what model, what brand, but Roy's had the ones that could meet our timeline and gave us a good price. So to meet our spec for what we put out, there's a 2026 3/4 ton, 8-foot cab, $68,975, but they actually have some 2024s, which are absolutely brand new that were ordered because they were, I'm not quite sure who ordered them, but they're trying to move them now, and they have a service body on the back, so it's got the, normally you're paying extra for that. It's the, you can get to your tools and that sort of stuff on the back, and it's a 1 ton, so it's an absolutely fantastic truck, so we want to take advantage of it, and it's $10,000. So the $75,000 was our budget for the pickup truck, so it's a very good deal for what we normally see for 3/4 ton trucks, and this is even more. And the V plow blade is under budget as well. It's $17,760. We reached out to a few vendors, and Roy's also have someone who they use always for their same trucks, but Carmichael's does pretty much all of our equipment, so they gave us a compliant bid within the time limit, and so we think this is a good way to go.
Great. Thank you. Questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Massey.
So are we bidding for 2 trucks or just the one?
One.
Okay, so the 1 ton is the one that you want to go with? Okay. Good, yep.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? All those in favor? Motion is carried. None opposed. Okay. Moving on to PW 2025-26, equipment attachments. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receives report PW 2025-26 equipment attachments, and that Council authorizes the purchase of a backhoe thumb for the sum of $17,900 plus HST from TerraPro Construction in Vars, and that Council authorizes the purchase of a pair of forks for the loader from Delta Power Equipment for $10,500, I think it says?
That's my terrible writing, yeah.
Plus HST.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I apologize.
This is incorrect.
We had some late additions to the, for this. So these items were all asked for from operators. So this is a result of us going back, getting feedback from our teams. What do you need? What's going to make your lives better and the operation more efficient? So the backhoe thumb was a major ask for the Laheel shop. The reason is they're often called to do operations at the landfill. So if there's items that are, falling out of the bin and they need to get the backhoe, pick stuff up and put it in, often there's not the equipment to do that, and we have to bring the backhoe thumb from Kenyon all the way across the Glen Robinson landfill. And so there's you can waste a day really, in replanning things. So good piece of equipment to make things work. The forks are also a major help to have them on our large loader. Very, very minor piece, but we don't have a pair of forks. We've got a large snowblower, but a pair of forks makes our, makes that loader way more versatile. So my estimates were a little bit off. I had budgeted $15,000 $15,000 for the thumb and $15,000 for the forks. We did have a late update, so with the change, bringing the Delta Power equipment, we also got verbals from Ray's Equipment and Montreal Tractor. There were 12,800 and 13,300. And we'd left this closer to the end of the year because we knew this is stuff that makes us more efficient. But if it really came down to it and we had to drop some capital items, these were the ones that we'd probably drop. But we did well on all our capital budgets. So with the late addition, that actually brings us under the $30,000 that was budgeted for both of them, brings us to $28,899.84, which is $1,000 under budget. That's including what we pay in tax. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. And PW 2025-27, pedestrian crossing warning light equipment, Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Madden, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receives report PW 2025-27, pedestrian crossing warning light equipment, and the council authorizes the purchase of 2 sets of pedestrian crossing warning lights for $22,020.35 from Logic ITS Inc.
Great, thank you. Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we did a pedestrian network study in 2023. The major part that came out of it was the circulation of the schools. So the kids walk to our community centers, and the Tim Hortons Dome and the GSP is one of the big ones. So we had asked for some RFB, which are some Type C crossing, the flashing lights. You see one in front of GDH, which we put in this year, or end of last year, and then we put another one at the Dome. So there's 2 sets of these. We had originally planned for one to go at Father Ranald, which would be right in front of the GSP, which is still the case. The other place that we've been approved for it from the county was actually on County Road 10. However, with the Main Street project coming up, it might actually be better to consider putting this equipment over in Maxville, because there is a great need for the crossing that I talk to people and they say, oh, there's even a crossing there, because there's not great visibility. You're coming up or down the hill, and those painted lines wear out very, very quickly, and the painting guys don't get around until late summer. So that's another considered place that we could consider putting this. Either way, there's plenty of places in the township where these could go. This is just the purchase of the equipment, and then our own guys do the installation. So we make sure it's compliant with the Highway Traffic Act and the Ontario Traffic Manual. So the location of the second one to be discussed, but we think this is a great price, uses up our budget for purchasing this year, and we'd go ahead and install them in the early spring, summer of next year.
Okay, Sounds good. It's good to see the bids come in relatively close. It sometimes makes you wonder when one's so far off from the other. So questions or comments? Go ahead.
So 22,000, that's for both of them,
Mhm.
like 11,000 average. Okay, perfect.
Go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Sorry, Maxville, where are we talking about? I didn't catch where. At where, sorry?
At the post office,
Okay, okay.
across in there.
Yep, got it.
You can't see it half the time.
That's where the school goes to. Yep. Okay. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. Thanks, Tim. Moving on to the Fire Department, FD 2025-07, Dunvegan Water Storage Tank License Agreement and Bill of Sale. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Oh, I've got a good one here. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manley, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry authorizes the mayor and clerk to execute the license agreement between the Corporation of the Township of North Glengarry, licensor, and North Glengarry BSS Inc., licensee, for the installation of an underground water storage tank on municipal lands in Dunvegan, and that the council authorize the mayor and clerk to execute the bill of sale transferring ownership of the tank and associated equipment to the township upon completion of the work, and that by bylaw 48/2025, license agreement with BESS be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this December 8th, 2025.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As council is aware, as part of the North Glengarry Battery Energy Storage System project, they have agreed to construct an underground water storage tank at their own cost on municipal property located on County Road 24 in Dunvegan. This tank will serve as an emergency water source for fire protection in the event of any incident at the BESS facility, as well as being available for fire protection purposes throughout North Glengarry. So the documents before council, the license agreement outlines the terms under which the licensee will access to complete the work, and the bill of sale formalizes the transfer and all assigned responsibilities of the equipment, including maintenance, operation, and compliance with applicable laws of the township. Financial implications: there was no direct cost to the township for this construction. Future maintenance and operational costs will be the responsibility of the township upon the transfer. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I had a question here. Sorry, by having that tank in Dunvegan, would that provide with any insurance decreases for people having a water supply that close?
It would always, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It would always depend on the insurance brokers. Typically, there is a reduction of insurance based on your proximity to hydrants or firewalls. So the fire protection, fire underwriter survey, once they're notified of this firewall that's been now installed, it'll go through testing, and then once that information is distributed throughout all the insurance brokers, then residents will potentially see a decrease.
Okay, great. Questions or comments from, go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just out of curiosity, Chief, we emailed a little bit. Any, that fill get taken care of?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, all the fill was looked after on site
Okay.
as a result of just finishings that they had to take care of. So,
Okay,
yep.
good, thank you.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, items under the consent agenda. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receives the items from the consent agenda for information purposes only.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on the agenda, on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. New business, support for local governance of conservation authorities. Are you speaking to this, or?
Sure, I can. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is something that, it's along the lines with what Allison McDonald from the RRCA was talking about. I understand their board, Councillor Massey could probably speak more to that, are talking about the same thing. There's a documentation that came from the South Nation in there. I believe they're looking for endorsement from our council here. There's a copy of a resolution that was passed by County Council recently as well as Tash. So we thought rather than just put it in the regular consent agenda, just to, make sure council was aware of it if you want to do something with it or not. It's fairly self-explanatory in terms of what their concerns are around local governance and things like that. So I'll leave it in your capable hands.
So, is everyone, well, I guess I'll put it on the table, unfortunately. That means I don't have to read it? I don't know if I'm taking advice from I'm just going to read it in case. Not that I want to. Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, proposed amendments to the Conservation Authorities Act and ERO number 0251257, whereas the Conservation Authorities Act 1946 enables municipalities to establish conservation authorities and appoint locally elected representatives to their boards, ensuring direct municipal oversight and accountability for programs funded by municipal taxpayers. Whereas the municipalities within the South Nation watershed established South Nation Conservation in 1947 to protect people, property, farmland, water resources, and natural systems through a watershed-based model that reflects local geographic, hydrologic, and community needs. Whereas municipalities with the SNC jurisdiction currently provide between 25% and 55% of total funding for Conservation Authority operations, while provincial funding has declined to approximately 3% in recent years. Whereas SNC delivers essential services that support municipal responsibilities, including natural hazard identification and permitting, watershed planning and development review, flood forecasting, emergency management, low water response, drinking water source protection, watershed monitoring and reporting, technical studies, sustainable forestry, agricultural stewardship, and restoration programs. The management of over 13,000 acres of conservation lands, including lands donated by residents and managed through municipal service agreements. Whereas on November 7, 2025, the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, ERO number 0251257, proposing to consolidate Ontario's 36 conservation authorities into 7 regional conservation authorities and to establish a new Ontario Provincial Conservation Agency with limited consultation and without accompanying cost-benefit analysis or evidence demonstrating the need for the restructuring. Whereas Bill 3 of 68 enables the province to assume governance authority over regional conservation authorities, raising concerns regarding diminished municipal representation, loss of local decision-making, and centralization of watershed management. Whereas the municipalities of Eastern Ontario have expressed concern, including the United Counties of Stormont, Dundas, and Glengarry, that restructuring may increase red tape and administrative burden, impose significant transition costs for HR, IT, land transfers, and government realignment, dilute rural voices within large regional agencies dominated by major urban centers, erode donor confidence, and affect the stewardship of thousands of acres of locally donated lands, disrupt bilingual service delivery in designated municipalities governed by the French Language Services Act. Whereas conservation authorities, including SNC, already collaborate regionally through successful shared service models, joint watershed studies, coordinated flood forecasting, agricultural stewardship programs, digital permitting, and harmonized technical reviews, demonstrating that modernization and efficiency can be achieved without dismantling local governance structures. Whereas municipalities rely on SNC's field-based expertise, rapid on-site support, landowner relationships, and local knowledge services that risk being weakened under a large centralized regional structure. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry urges the Government of Ontario to maintain local municipally governed watershed-based conservation authorities, including South Nation Conservation, to ensure effective natural resource and natural hazard management, transparent local services, and accountability for municipal levy dollars. And further, that this council does not support the proposed consolidation boundaries presented in ERO 25-1257 or the creation of a new provincial conservation agency without evidence-based analysis, transparent consultation, and clear articulation of impacts to municipal budgets, local service delivery, donor lands, and bilingual obligations. And further, that this council encourages the province to work collaboratively with municipalities and conservation authorities to identify opportunities for improved consistency, modernization, and shared service approach within the existing watershed governance model. And further, that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Minister of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, local MPPs and MPs, all municipalities within the South Nation watershed, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, Conservation Ontario, and all conservation authorities in Ontario. Any discussion?
Some of that.
Yeah. Any discussion? Go ahead, Brian. Councillor Cadell.
I'm all for centralizing things, and, through communication now, we can communicate over large distances, so very easily, you don't have to have people running around in cars. I see it as a good thing, you could say, oh, they'll forget about us, and again, with modern communication, we won't let them forget us. I disagree with that.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Massey.
As this council is well aware, I am on the board of the Raisin River Conservation Authority, and we had that discussion on last Thursday morning, and we had a board member that is close ties with MPP Nolan Quinn, and the way that the provincial government work is to set a deadline for the program, the consultation start in 2027. But in the meantime, all throughout next year, the 2026 is going to take in information, suggestions, try to consult. So the end goal that they present as 6 different, it's not set in stone. It can change. It's malleable. And then Allison from the RRC was here earlier this morning. Like as the Raisin River, we're the fastest in processing. I think a 6-day actual day to get a permit. The lowest levies, impact on levies, and while we are not in complete agreement with the constellation, we do see that there is maybe a lot of improvement to be done in certain other regions of the province. So that's where that thing came from. So I would agree with Mr. Cadell. I think sometimes progress is it's a bit of change, but it might be good in a way. So I know there will be a lot of consultation with our MPs and MPPs, and then different forums, and this Conservation Ontario is well aware of that, and they're making a lot of presentation. So I'm in favor of, not in favor, but we're moving ahead in the future, so we do have to develop a different format of consolidation.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I take both the points, and I agree we've talked about this. I think this is inevitable at some level or in some way. The point in this to me about consultation with municipalities and an understanding of the expense to municipalities and the impacts on municipalities, to me, is the really important part of this.
Yep.
I'm not against it happening in some way, shape, or form, but there has been nothing. And they tried this, the province tried this as soon as they came into power, right?
Mhm.
And there was massive blowback, and they backed off within, I think, 3 months, maybe 2 months. So they're seeing this as a better way, but they're still dictating that it's got to happen. And I think Allison said, if I'm not mistaken, she was talking about a piece of legislation being dropped somewhere in the neighborhood of like May, which means that that's what they're gonna float. It's not that they're gonna gather more information. They're still gonna force the issue. And then they'll back off if there's enough pushback. And this seems to be the way they do a lot of things is thou must, and then, oh, okay, well, no, maybe not. I don't agree with every aspect of this, but I agree with a lot of the aspects of this. So what I was gonna ask before you read it, might have saved your breath. Is it fair to ask Raisin Region to contribute to something that we pass that is not necessarily this, but something that is in the same spirit, but more representative of our concerns?
Anybody else want to, I'm in agreement with that as well. And, you know, Councillor Cadell, to your point, I think that there has to be some changes, obviously, and status quo is not an option. And I don't think the government will allow it to be an option. So I think that my concerns are the exact same thing that you mentioned, is what happens to our costs, what happens with consultation, what happens with permits and everything. So some questions need to be answered, but I do wish you would have spoken earlier, and no, but you didn't. Yeah. Well, I had to put it on the floor for us to, so are we all in favor of at least a deferral and have something come back that's not quite as simple and just saying that, we want consultation with municipalities to see what that path looks like and costs for us, and because we often know what happens at the province is they make something happen and then we're responsible for all the costs. So we don't want to see that happen. So
There was a mention there specifically that the provincial contribution is down to 3%.
yeah,
Right? And I mean, in what they're dictating, there should also be something set out that if this is what they are dictating is going to happen, they should include an amount that they will be responsible for going forward.
yeah,
Yeah, it's called having some skin in the game.
yeah. It's like MPAC. They have all the say and no skin in the game. So, okay, all those in favor of deferral? Motion is carried. Oh, sorry. Motion is deferred. Okay, next is notice of motion. Our next regular meeting is Monday, January 12th, 2026. I'll open the floor to if there are any questions from the audience. No questions? Okay. Okay, so we are going to go in camera, so we will take a 5-minute break and then go in camera. Okay, thank you and welcome back from our in-camera meeting. Deputy Mayor Williams, you have a resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the council now rise and report from the in-camera session held on December the 8th, 2025, during the regular council meeting, and that there are no reportable items arising from the closed session, and that the regular council meeting now resume at 7:41 p.m.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Motion is carried. And I'll call on Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Madden, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopts bylaw 49, 2025, being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution, and that bylaw 49, 2025 be read a first, second, third time and enacted in open council this 8th day of December 2025.
Okay, thank you. No questions. All those in favor? Motion is carried. And Councillor Massey, adjournment.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cadell. There be no further business to discuss. This meeting was adjourned at 8:42.
7:42? Okay, before we, all those in favor? Motion is carried. And as we adjourn, I'd just like to wish all members of council, staff, and the public a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We've had a good Christmas season so far with some nice parades in Maxville and Alexandria and some tree lighting. So it's the festive season has begun. So drive safe during the festive season. And I'm not sure if any other members of council have anything they'd like to say. Go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will just add that there are some people out there who are not as fortunate. There's all kinds of organizations that are accepting donations, and anybody that can and feels the spirit definitely should.
Thank you. Councillor Cadell.
Absolutely with you on that. The Legion made a substantial donation to the food bank, and we're happy about that. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
Okay, great. Thank you. And that's it. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you.